Note: one of the early triumphs of the KMT brake was that it was able to provide an explanation of effusion and also diffusion. Stop. One of the early triumphs of the KMT was that it was able to provide an explanation of effusion and also diffusion. We will talk about the process of diffusion shortly. Question: Effusion is defined as the process by which a gas escapes a container through a tiny hole into an area of lower blank break. However, for the purposes of these notes, we will say a blank. Stop. Answer: effusion is defined as the process by which a gas escapes into a container, a gas escapes a container through a tiny hole into an area of lower gas concentration. However, for the purposes of these notes, we shall say an evacuated space. Side note: typically, this evacuated space is another container or more likely another chamber within the same container. Stop. Typically, this evacuated space is another container, or more likely, another chamber within the same container. Question: in the year blank, Thomas Graham studied the time it took a fixed amount of various gases to effuse completely from one container to another. Stop. Answer: in the year 1846, Thomas Graham studied the time it took a fixed amount of various gases to effuse completely from one container to another. Note: his observations, which are now collectively known as Graham's law of effusion, states the following. Stop. His observations, which are now known as Graham's law of effusion, states the following. Question: the rate of effusion of a gas break is blank to the blank blank of the gases blank. Stop. Answer, according to Graham's law, or Graham's law of effusion, the rate of effusion of a gas is inversely proportional to the square root of the gas's molar mass. Note, expressed in mathematical terms, this equation is as follows. Stop. Expressed in mathematical terms, this equation is as follows. Question. The rate of effusion of a gas, the rate of effusion of a gas X is directly proportional, or in other words, proportionality sign, to the quotient blank. Stop. Answer. The rate of effusion of gas X, proportionality sign, the quotient 1 over the square root of the quantity italicized M R sub X.